What's up, Scyushi Squad? We are back in for Trove, and today I thought we would take a break from our usual programming, and even though it's a bit late, I mean, those of you on console just got the update, so it's still relevant, but we're going to be looking through all of the Solarion's costumes. So a couple of these we did end up already covering in the Solarion Class packs, obviously, but I don't know, I kind of wanted to end up doing a full video that ended up actually showing all of it off. So we're chilling in Team Pixel 5 just for kicks. And yeah, so this is going to end up being our base level costume. You know, the video effects are going to be slightly different on this than some of the era costumes. We aren't going to show what the dots look like on training dummies and stuff like that, because it doesn't really matter too much. Most of all, it's just, okay, how does the fire look? How does the ult look? And all of these other abilities, which generally speaking, you can see it actually looks... it looks fairly decent. Actually, you know what? Come to think of it, I will have to do this on training dummies because otherwise I'm not going to generate any energy. But before we continue, we have a quick word from today's sponsor, GameAgo. Are you tired of dealing with Trove load screens? Well, don't worry, because now you actually have something that you can do while you wait for the game to end up loading or crashing, one or the other. That's right, we've got the Trove cosplay contest going on over on TikTok, where you're going to end up following the link in the description, downloading this paper craft Solarion helmet that I messed up because he's not supposed to have these elf ears, but I do actually like it a lot better. It's also supposed to be in color, but I don't have a colored printer, so sorry, GameAgo. So what is this contest about? Well, you're going to end up basically recording yourself in public with this atrocity of a mask over your face, but you're going to end up uploading that to TikTok, and then you're going to have it with the hashtag Trove cosplay, hashtag cosplay, and hashtag gaming. 2 lucky winners will end up being chosen by September 16th, with the #1 prize going towards the person that has the most likes on their TikTok video. They're going to win 1,000 euros. Yes, that's right, euros. I didn't say American dollars or anything, euros, but stop my head. And second place is going to end up being chosen by a group of GameAgo employees and influencers, such as myself, who are going to judge your work. What does second place win, you ask? The exact same thing. 1,000 euros. I should also mention that those that qualify for the contest, you'll actually end up winning a Sundered Uplands cash in-game as well. And as far as my understanding is concerned, that's just for participating, so that's not bad. But you're gonna have to act fast because the contest is going to close August 28th. You have to have your video posted on TikTok before August 28th. I'm reminding you guys, but I'm also reminding myself because I want to participate in this contest for fun. Except I don't know TikTok like at all. And even if you guys aren't interested in the contest, you should still upload stuff to TikTok because I'm going to end up reacting to it at some point. Anyways, you can end up finding the rest of the information with the link in the description. Thanks, GameAgo, for the opportunity to be a part of this contest, and thank you folks watching at home for making me popular enough that GameAgo reached out to me. There we go. So that's the video effects, and then this is going to end up being the ultimate ability. The funny thing is that I don't think any of the default costumes end up changing at all. I'm pretty sure that they all end up having all of the same video effects, but I can still end up showing you guys what all of these costumes do end up looking like. I don't think that there's a different bow style, if I'm not mistaken, so I ended up actually just picking some bow styles that worked good with the costume. Just if you've seen it in live streams and stuff. My point is, I don't think that we get any different Solarion bow styles until we end up going into the actual costumes themselves from the class packs. But anyway, you can see it's pretty much the exact same video effects. Not really anything super crazy, but at the very least, we can take a look at the costume, which looks a little bit more ashen, a little bit more burnt, which is cool. Yeah, I don't know, it's kind of a weird one, but it's kind of cool at the same time. And then of course, moving on to level 20, suddenly it becomes a lot different, which I think is actually pretty dang cool that the class is sort of coming into its own, and this is kind of the big fire theme of the costume, which has a lot of nice little details to it and a lot of nice little colors and so on and so forth. Once again, as far as I know, it's just going to end up being all of the same video effects. Maybe it's slightly different, but I don't notice a difference, man. Like, it looks basically the exact same to me. And finally, there's going to end up being the level 30 costume, which is completely different than the rest of the suit, which I appreciate that we've got a costume for this class that is Radiant themed without having to have it in a pack or anything like that, because most of the other classes will end up having the same theme generally throughout their entire like full leveled costumes, right? Whereas with the Solarion, you can see we end up going from kind of fire-ish to a full-on radiant, which is weirdly interesting. Again, I don't think the VFX are different. There might be some slight changes. Maybe this looks a little bit more overpowered or something. I don't know. But again, it's a pretty cool costume and kind of makes me think of a Valkyrie, which is really, really interesting. Once again, though, there is no bow style to my knowledge, so you would just end up using like legendary or radiant bow styles. So there's going to end up being this is the first of the actual like costumes you have to end up going out of your way to get or craft, which I'll show you guys the crafting recipe in a moment. Most of all, I just want to show you the costume. This is going to end up being the one for Dispoiled Divinity. I was gonna say Lunar Souls, but no, this is going to end up being basically the Shadow Tower costume, which this one's got some crazy video effects. Look at all those bananas. Man alive. Should be a monkey costume, right? I mean, I know it's supposed to be moons, but still, really like the blue hue of it all. You know, it's got a really nice color palette to it, despite the fact that I just don't really like the look of this costume. Our number one is going to steal the moon from the Lunar Lancer. I'm literally in D&D, so I don't know how you guys are joining me, but okay, whatever. And then our ultimate ability, which is just kind of a mega chongo explosion. It's basically the exact same as the normal Solarion ult. However, it's going to end up being obviously a different thematic color. So the way we end up actually crafting this costume, you know, we haven't gone to the Shadow Towers in like years because there's no reason to, because they ended up nerfing the heck out of it and there's not really any reason to fight these bosses anymore. But we do still need the Shadowy Market, which is going to end up being right down here. Lunar Plunge 2022 is here and we can't craft anything. Okay, I guess they're getting ready for an event, whatever. But Dispoiled Divinity, you can see that the costume is going to end up being right here. Generally speaking, is pretty dang cheap. 4 of them. I forget how much Dispoiled Divinity you end up getting per week because I haven't farmed it in a very long time. But essentially, for those that don't know, you have to farm this out of delves now. So every time you end up getting to the shadowy chest in the delves, you'll end up getting either a Titan Soul, a Lunar Soul, or a Dispoiled Divinity. And there's a limited amount that you can end up getting per week. So that's where this costume ends up coming into play. And then we're going to be moving on to the cash shop costumes. So these, once again, we already did end up technically covering in another video, but I did think that it was worthwhile to mention it all here. Floral? Yeah, Floral Bow, there we go. So this is going to end up being out of the cheapest pack, I think, for the Solarion. Like I said, I've got a video that covers all of the packs that you can end up buying with the Solarion. But generally speaking, I think a lot of people are going to have this one just because it being part of the cheapest pack, and that pack is going to end up being the most cost-effective way of getting your hands on the Solarion. Now, do I think that this costume is better than any of the ones that we saw? Not necessarily. Generally speaking, I actually really like the leveled costumes of the Solarion. However, my favorite costume, well, we haven't looked at it yet. I think you guys will not be very surprised when you see which costume is my favorite. The one thing I will say about these paid costumes is the video effects is just way too over the top. Like, it's cool and everything, but I can't tell what's going on. Like, look at this. I can't see anything, dude. It's just it's crazy. I don't know why we've got a Chloromancer theme for the Solarion, but I do appreciate it because I appreciate when we have completely different themes for class costumes and so on, because usually in the past, you know, from my experience with Trove, we've had so many costumes that just end up looking basically the same, right? Fanatical? Yeah, there we go. So no surprise, this is actually my favorite Solarion costume. I think it's because the colors. Because it's got a whole dark purple and green going for it. But I also just really like the whole eyeball and Cthulhu theme. Like, it's just, there's something about it that just looks really, really cool to me. Even the helmet and how he's got like the slicked hair, but it's made out of tentacles. Like, I really do appreciate this costume. On top of that, the video effects, if they would ever end up showing, which they barely ever do, are going to end up looking pretty neat. They're going to end up being very over the top again. We got lots and lots of purple, lots and lots of eyeballs. If we use our ult, it's just so many eyeballs, dude. Like, crazy crazy amount of video effects going on, especially when you're in the middle of a dungeon and using all of these effects and everything like that. It just can be, oof, it's quite overwhelming. And then we're already on to the last current costume of the Solarion, which is going to end up being the DJ costume. I will admit that these DJ costumes have never been my favorite. Like, I don't know, man. I don't like these costumes. What can I say? I don't care for the whole wub wub dubstep theme, and we've seen this costume type on a lot of different classes, which I do think is cool, again, because I like that it's kind of becoming a theme with all of the class costumes. But at the same time, I feel like there's other costumes types that we could have had that would have been a lot cooler. But anyways, you know, the video effects on this one is a little over the top again. I don't really care for the whole like super blocky feel of it. It kind of looks like we are, I don't know, it looks like we're a shadow soul or something. Like it, we look like an inventory item. But anyways, it's going to end up being all music themed. And as you can see, it's got really, really crazy video effects. It just goes absolutely ham. Thankfully, these video effects don't get as much in your face as like the floral costume or something, but it is still very, very over the top. But of course, for me personally, I make myself headless, and then I take the helmet style that we have from the Revenant's crab costume that was added more recently. And I mean, look at this abomination. Isn't it just beautiful? I love it. I haven't really actually taken a look at any of the modded costumes for the Solarion yet, but I'm really interested to see what people end up coming up with, because I think that we're gonna be in... this class has a lot of potential to end up looking cool, because it's basically going to end up being a reskin of the Vanguardian's body type. Let's face it. And so Vanguard has a lot of really cool costumes, and so I think that we can really start to see some really great Solarion costumes. Maybe in the future we'll end up taking a look at some of the modded costumes, but as for today, that's gonna do it for me. Thanks for watching. Smash like, sub for more, buy the merch you want, support the channel, and have a wonderful day, everybody.